Imagine a tractor hauling 35 tons through deep snow, powered by steam and steered like a locomotive. Now picture a World War II fruit farmer bolting makeshift tracks onto a wheezing tractor to save his orchard from ruin. American crawler history is not just about the machines you know. It is a story of wild inventions, desperate solutions, and vanished prototypes that are stranger than anything you would expect from the title. If you think all crawler tractors look alike, these 7 odd survivors will make you question why so much ingenuity disappeared. So how did these weird designs shape what came next? And why did most vanish without a trace? In the frozen forests of Maine, at the turn of the 20th century, a new kind of machine thundered to life. The Lombard steam log hauler, patented in 1901 by Alvin O. Lombard, looked more like a locomotive gone astray than any farm tractor. Its tall, upright boiler hissed with steam, while a pair of massive steel tracks stretched out behind, gripping the snow-packed earth. Instead of horses or oxen, loggers now relied on 20 tons of iron and ingenuity to drag timber out of the woods, sometimes hauling as much as 35 tons at a time. Lombard's invention was no accident. The dense Maine forests demanded a machine that could float over deep drifts and rutted ground where wheels would only sink and stall. The answer was a tracked chassis driven by chains and gears, powered by a vertical boiler that ran at up to 300 pounds per square inch. The hauler's chain drive transferred steam power to the tracks, and a front-mounted steering sled, operated by a pilot with nerves of steel, kept the whole contraption pointed straight. It was a blend of locomotive and tractor, built to conquer winter's worst. Real-world performance proved the concept. In deep snow, the Lombard could pull loaded sled trains at 3 to 5 miles per hour, cutting the cost and danger of winter logging. But the machine was demanding. Feeding the boiler required constant attention, and maintenance was grueling. Steam pipes froze, gears jammed, and the firebox devoured wood at an astonishing rate. Still, for a brief window, these crawlers ruled the northern woods. By the 1920s, internal combustion engines began to replace steam, and the Lombard faded into obscurity. Fewer than 10 original steam log haulers are known to survive today, most hidden away in museums or private collections. Yet the legacy is clear. Lombard's tracks inspired future giants like Holt and eventually Caterpillar. The baked idea, spreading weight over a wide, cleated track, remains at the heart of every crawler tractor built since. If you're enjoying this documentary so far, feel free to subscribe. It helps us bring you more rare machine history. In the middle of World War II, a small machine shop in Yakima, Washington began turning ordinary John Deere Model B tractors into something no one had seen before. Lindeman Power Equipment, run by Jesse Lindeman, faced a challenge that stumped many orchard growers: how to keep tractors moving on steep, soft hillsides without tearing up valuable soil or getting stuck. Instead of waiting for a factory solution, Lindeman designed a bolt on rear track assembly that transformed the two-wheeled Model B into a tracked crawler. what became known as the Lindeman BO. The conversion was straightforward but clever. The tractor's standard rear wheels were removed and replaced with a custom-built track frame, driven by the original axle. Wide steel tracks, sometimes fitted with rubber pads, spread the weight across a much larger area, dropping ground pressure to just 2 or 3 pounds per square inch. That meant the tractor could glide over muddy ground or delicate orchard rows without compacting the soil or leaving deep ruts. The front wheels remained for steering, giving the machine a squat, almost unfinished look compared to purpose-built crawlers. But the performance leap was real. On slopes where wheeled tractors spun helplessly, the Lindeman BO held firm, pulling sprayers or plows with up to 30% more grip. The first conversions rolled out in 1943, right as wartime labor shortages pushed farmers to get creative with equipment. Lindeman's approach was practical. Use what is already on hand, make it work better, and keep costs down. Farmers could bring in their own John Deere bee, and Lindeman's team would fit the track kit in days. Word spread quickly through the Yakima Valley, and soon a few hundred of these hybrids were working orchards and vineyards across the Northwest. Their rarity today comes from that very practicality. As John Deere began offering factory-built crawlers in the late 1940s, the need for conversions faded. Most Lindeman BO conversions went back to being regular tractors or were left in barns as technology advanced. For collectors, a genuine Lindeman conversion is a rare find, a symbol of hands-on ingenuity and the kind of small shop innovation that helped shape American farming. The legacy of these bolt-on crawlers lives on in today's compact orchard tractors, which still rely on low ground pressure and adaptability to protect crops and keep moving where wheels alone would fail. If you are enjoying this documentary so far, feel free to subscribe. It helps us bring you more rare machine history. In 1917, the Cleveland Tractor Company unveiled a crawler that looked almost cartoonish beside its hulking competitors. The Cletrac Model F stood low to the ground, with a stubby frame and a narrow, almost beak-like hood. Its proportions seemed odd, but every inch of the design served a purpose. Where most early crawlers sprawled across fields, the Model F hugged tight spaces, weaving between rows of crops that would have stopped larger machines cold. Cletrac. What set the Cletrac F apart was not just its size, it was how it moved. Under the hood, a 4-cylinder engine put out about 15 horsepower, driving a pair of compact steel tracks. But the real innovation was in the steering. Instead of clumsy clutch and brake turns, the Model F used a controlled differential system. This setup allowed the operator to slow one track while the other kept moving, letting the tractor pivot smoothly in place. In a time when most tractors needed wide turns or even backing up to change direction, the Cletrac could spin nearly on its own axis. That made it ideal for the tight, irregular plots common on early 20th century farms, where wasted space meant lost crops. Differential farmers quickly saw the benefit. The Model F could slip between orchard trees, turn at the end of short rows, and work land that would bog down heavier machines. Its light weight and low ground pressure meant less damage to soil, a growing concern as intensive agriculture spread. Still, the compact frame came with trade-offs. The little Cletrac did not have the muscle for heavy plowing or pulling big implements. For jobs demanding brute force, larger models soon took over. Compact production numbers for the Model F remained low, and by the early 1920s, bigger, more powerful Cletracs pushed it out of the spotlight. Today, only a handful survive, prized by collectors for their peculiar looks and mechanical ingenuity. The Model F differential steering system, though, left a lasting mark. Variations of this smooth turning mechanism became standard on many crawlers that followed, proving that sometimes the strangest solutions are the ones that stick. Legacy. On the steep, sun-baked hillsides of California and the Pacific Northwest, ordinary tractors often struggled to keep their footing. The answer came from the Cleveland Tractor Company, the HG, a crawler built in the 1940s and with a twist. Literally, unlike conventional crawlers with rigid track frames, the Cletrac HG used oscillating track frames that could pivot independently on a central pin. This design allowed each track to follow the slope beneath it, keeping the tractor's body level even as the ground tilted sharply away. Where most machines risked tipping or losing traction, the HG could operate safely on slopes up to 40 degrees, an angle that would have sidelined nearly every rival. Mechanically, the secret lay in the pivot geometry. Each track frame was mounted on a heavy steel pin that ran crosswise beneath the tractor. As the HG climbed or traversed a hillside, the frames would tilt, adjusting in real time to the ground's uneven contours. At the same time, Cletrac's controlled differential steering system allowed smooth, precise turns without the jerky stops, or soil scarring skids common to clutch and brake systems. Operators could guide the HG along vineyard rows or orchard terraces, where wheeled tractors either spun out or slid sideways. The HG's roots trace back to the orchard and vineyard boom of the 1940s, when farmers needed a crawler small enough for tight rows, but stable enough for dangerous hills. During World War II, demand for reliable hillside machines soared. Cletrac's solution caught the eye of Oliver, a larger tractor manufacturer, who acquired the company and continued production under the Oliver Cletrac name. The HG's combination of stability, agility, and compact size made it a favorite among growers working on unforgiving terrain. In real-world use, the HG earned a reputation for going places other tractors simply could not. It could climb, turn, and hold its line on slopes that would have spelled disaster for heavier, less flexible machines. Yet despite its success in the hills, the HG remained a niche product. As advances in wheeled tractor design improved slope handling, the need for specialized hillside crawlers faded. Today, surviving HGs are rare, often restored by collectors who appreciate the engineering behind those oscillating tracks. If you are enjoying this documentary so far, feel free to subscribe. It helps us bring you more rare machine history. The lessons learned from the HG's pivoting frames influenced later developments in crawler suspension and hillside stability. That legacy shows that sometimes the strangest solutions leave the deepest tracks in history. In the early 1950s, a new kind of crawler rolled out of Churubusco, Indiana, one that looked almost toy-like beside the iron giants of its day. The Teratra GT30, built by the American Tractor Corporation, was small enough to fit in a garage, but packed enough punch to pull a plow or move dirt on a construction site. Weighing just over 2 tons and powered by a 30 horsepower engine, the GT30 was a true pocket crawler, designed for farmers and contractors who needed serious traction in a compact package. What set the GT30 apart was not just its size. Its low gear drawbar performance set a world record during Nebraska official tractor tests in 1952, showing a level of grip and pulling power that outclassed many larger machines. The secret lay in short, sturdy tracks and optimized gearing. With an 8.5-inch track diameter and a chassis built for tight turns, the GT30 could squeeze into spaces where full-sized crawlers simply did not fit. Its lightweight frame made it ideal for working soft ground or maneuvering in crowded barnyards, and the crawler tracks kept it moving in mud or on slopes where wheels would stall. American Tractor Corporation specialized in these mini-crawlers, aiming to make heavy-duty traction available to small farms and businesses. By the time the GT30 appeared, American Tractor Corporation had grown rapidly, offering a range of niche machines and even pioneering the use of 3-point hitches on tracked tractors. The company's focus on affordable, versatile equipment reflected the post-war push for efficiency and adaptability on American farms. But the GT30's story is also one of limits. Despite its record-setting performance and clever engineering, American Tractor Corporation could not compete with larger manufacturers for long. In 1957, J.Y. Case bought the company and folded the GT30 into its own lineup, ending production of these pocket crawlers. Today, surviving GT30s are rare. Most were worked hard and retired quietly, with only a handful restored by dedicated collectors. Yet the idea behind them, a small nimble crawler for everyday jobs, opened the door for later compact machines and hobbyist restorations. The GT30 stands as a reminder that sometimes shrinking a machine can expand what is possible on the land. If you are enjoying this documentary so far, feel free to subscribe. It helps us bring you more rare machine history. In 1967, Struck Corporation of Wisconsin launched the Magnet Track Kit, a bold move that shifted crawler technology from factory floors to home garages. The kit arrived as boxes packed with steel track frames, a simple chassis, and detailed plans, enough for anyone with basic tools and determination to build a working crawler tractor. Struck's vision was clear. Not every landowner needed a massive farm machine, but many wanted the traction and muscle of tracks for jobs like clearing snow, hauling logs, or leveling earth. The Magnet Track Kit made that possible at a fraction of the cost, opening up tracked power to rural families, hobbyists, and small contractors. What set the Magnet Track apart was its do-it-yourself philosophy. Builders chose between mechanical or hydrostatic drive, an advanced option for the late 1960s, then bolted on their own engines, often repurposed from lawnmowers or compact industrial units. The cleated steel tracks spread weight like a full-size crawler, but the machine was scaled for backyard work. Steering came by way of mechanical levers, or, in some versions, by adjusting hydraulic flow to each track, allowing for tight turns in gardens or woodlots. The modular design meant repairs were simple. If something broke, owners could fabricate or swap in new parts themselves, sidestepping expensive dealer service. Thousands of magnet track kits shipped out after 1967, finding homes on small farms, rural properties, and in the hands of tinkerers eager to test their skills. Owners customized their crawlers with grading blades, brush grapples, and even homemade backhoes. The kit's adaptability and hands-on spirit kept many running for decades, often with creative upgrades. As mass-produced compact tractors and all-terrain vehicles became more affordable, the kit crawler market faded. But the magnet track's legacy endured. Its modular, user-assembled approach inspired a generation of backyard engineers, and its early hydrostatic drive options foreshadowed features now standard on modern compact machines. The magnet track remains a testament to what is possible when technology meets determination in the home garage. If you are enjoying this documentary so far, feel free to subscribe. It helps us bring you more rare machine history. In 1953, Oliver Corporation brought out a crawler tractor that looked like a product two different eras welded together. The OC6 combined the company's own four-cylinder power with track technology inherited from Cletrac, which Oliver had acquired less than a decade earlier. The result was a machine that did not quite resemble its competitors, a true hybrid of sorts. The OC6 sat higher than most crawlers, with a buoywood and broad fenders that gave it a blocky, almost unfinished appearance. Yet beneath those odd proportions lay a careful synthesis of old and new, an effort to deliver the pulling strength of a crawler in a package familiar to farmers used to wield tractors. At its heart, the OC6 used a 3.3-liter, 45-horsepower engine paired with a 6-speed transmission. The undercarriage drew directly from Cletrac's proven designs, using wide steel tracks supported by heavy rollers. This setup spread the machine's 6,000 pounds over a broad footprint, keeping ground pressure low enough to work muddy fields or soft ground without getting bogged down. Unlike earlier Cletracs, the OC6 aimed for versatility. It could pull heavy plows, power belt-driven equipment, or handle loader attachments. The operator's station was set higher, providing a clear view for field work, but also making the tractor seem almost perched on its tracks, a look that set it apart from the lower, sleeker crawlers of the day. The OC6's hybrid nature was both its strength and its oddity. Farmers who needed more muscle than a standard wheel tractor, but did not want to leap to a full industrial crawler, found the OC6 filled that gap. Its Cletrac-derived track system gave it sure-footed traction in tough soil, while the Oliver engine and controls kept it familiar for those used to the company's row crop machines. Still, this blend came with trade-offs. The OC6 weighed more than most competitors in its power class, and its high stance made it less stable on steep slopes. Maintenance could be tricky too, with parts drawn from two different corporate lineages. Oliver produced the OC6 through the late 1950s, but as wheeled tractors grew stronger and more adaptable, demand for mid-sized crawlers faded. The OC6 never reached the mainstream, and surviving examples are rare today. Many were worked hard and retired quietly as farming changed. If you are enjoying this documentary so far, feel free to subscribe. It helps us bring you more rare machine history. For collectors, the OC6 is a touchstone. It represents a moment when American tractor makers tried to merge the best of two worlds, chasing traction and versatility in a single, unconventional package. Its influence lingers in the hybrid crawlers and track-equipped utility tractors that came after. Proof that even the strangest designs can leave a mark on the field. Today, most of these odd crawler designs exist only in archives and collector memories, but their legacy shapes every tracked machine still working American fields and forests. As automation and climate challenges demand new engineering, the bold experiments of the past remind us that unconventional ideas can change everything. The next breakthrough might look just as strange. Thanks for watching. Let us know which crawler surprised you most.